And you know that most divorces happen because of money. Either the way the money is managed, the disagreement in the way it is managed, or the lack of money because for one reason there is no plan for two to work on that. Now, the man is fundamentally responsible, I think, for money. But we're in a time where the woman can, and oftentimes, most of the time, is, and sometimes must contribute. So you have to have a wife that is open to that. And people ask you, well, what attracted you to Nora Jean 49 years ago? Because we dated for 2 years. When I met her, what attracted me the most, she was out of college, working two jobs, right? Because she wanted more, and she knew in order to have more, she needed to do more. So she found a second part-time job. Now I said, now there's a sister that has the kind of work ethic that is necessary to have the things that we want for our family and for our children. I think I could work with that because I was working two jobs too. So that was one of the things, one of the big things, aside from the fact that she was fine and sweet and just, everything that I wanted in a wife. Now, I waited fairly late to get married because listen, the average man doesn't mature until 40 years old. I think one of the biggest decisions, bad decisions that we make is that we make that choice, that the most important choice in our life, too early. I mean, we don't even know ourselves yet. Men haven't sown their wild oats. Sisters are still, really trying to gather their maturity and be the incredible woman that God wants them to be. So I think the later that you marry, the better that decision will be. That's why so many second marriages work out so well, because you know yourself a lot better than you did when you're making an important decision like that when you're 25, 26, or you're under 30 years old. Take your time.
Let me ask you, Dr. Fraser, how old were you when you got married?
Now remember, I was born in 1945. So my parents got married in their teens. That was of that generation, both from the South. Right? They were married in their teens. I was very close to 30 years old when I married. So I was an
old man back then.
Right. Because in the baby boomer generation, you fundamentally got married when you technically graduated from college, 4 or 5 years out of high school. Okay. The pressure was on. Right. So I was not ready. I knew that I was not ready. Right. I knew that I could not make a good decision. And if I made that decision, I would not honor that decision, because the vow says till death do us part. That's what the vows say. So are you serious? Is that what you really want to do? Are you ready, willing, and able to stay with your partner until death do you part? Or are you just sampling, or you just trying stuff? Well, that's very expensive. And as we had this conversation earlier, right? Mess a marriage up 2 or 3 times and see what that looks like. Because when you get married, you combine your assets. Let's say you stay together for 4 or 5 or 6 years. Something happens, you divorce, you divide the assets. You get half, she gets half. Then you marry again. And things are going fine, 3 or 4, 5, 6 years into it, something happens and you divorce again. The half that you had now has to be divided in half again. Do that 3 or 4 times and see what your life looks like, right? So you got to really it's an economic decision. It's mostly a sort of a spiritual and an emotional decision, but it's a very serious economic decision as well.